Now that we've put some units into our classes, we'll want to put some assessments and some work for our students to do. What I'll do is go to my class, go to the side panel which hides itself. I'm going to go down to Classroom and Class Stream. On the left, you'll see some folders, which are called folders or topics. I do like to divide my work into topics. So what I'll do is click on that little settings symbol, create a brand new folder, and name that folder Criterion A. Now, typically in design, we work very specifically in each criteria in order. So A, B, C, and then D. So it makes a lot of sense for design teachers to put a folder called Criteria A followed by B and so on. Now, what do we want to put into this folder? Well, I want to start off my unit with just a very quick formative assessment. I want to link it to the intro unit. And what I'll do is very quickly just make a very simple assignment like that. Put some clear instructions over here for the students to read so that they know exactly what I want them to do. You can record some audio, and I myself will be using this quite a lot, especially for those students who maybe find reading a little bit harder. In the resources, I can put a number of resources, whether it's from my own computer, a link from the internet, one of the online drives that we have in the school, or anything else that I want to put. Now, the templates I'll talk about in a different video. We can put a template up for the students to click, open up and type into directly. And especially for the younger students, this is vital, and it works exactly as Classroom did in previous years. So I'll make another video about that. Now, all the rest of the options down below I won't talk about, but it would be worth slowing down a little bit and just having a look through all the choices here. Of course, there will be another video about this later. Let's click on Next. And in the post settings, I'm going to choose which students. Well, I only have one student in this class. Now, the nice thing is we can select some students and leave some students out. Really good for differentiation. Let's click on Select. Let's do a due date somewhere in September. Let's do that. And a submission time of, let's go for it, 12:15. Now, the folder I want this to go into is Criterion A. Down below, I have three choices. I have a submission, and what that does is I'm telling the students that I would like them to submit something online. So obviously, if there's a document involved, a Google Doc, or other such thing, maybe it's a photograph they're taking of something, you would want them to submit it. In that case, you want this on. For me, this formative assessment isn't involving anything that they're going to physically hand in. I'm just going to walk around the classroom, talk to them, and take a note of what they do. The other two options I won't talk about right now. Let's click on Assign, and you can see within the criteria a folder or topic, as I like to call it, I have the formative assessment of Introduce a Design. Now, it would be really useful for us to see what a student would see in their account. So I'm just going to switch over to the student account. Now, the screen you see before you is an ordinary student at the ISD, so there's nothing special about this account, and you are seeing what all students will see when you set an assignment for them. You can see that the student has a to-do list, and that assignment that I just set a few minutes ago has just popped up on the screen of this student. So once the student sees the assignment that they have to do, they can very simply click on it. If there are files, links, and anything to see over there, they would see all the material over here. You can see that I've set it to submission not required. It's classwork, and I as a teacher am just going to go around and note that it's done. Once the student is done, they can go down and press that button that says Mark is done. And that's all the student has to do. Now, of course, if it's a submission, they would submit their piece of work and then click Mark is done. Let's go back to the teacher account. Now, as a teacher, I would click on the assignment itself, have a look at my students, click on a student, or click them all, go over and mark as completed. And that's all I have to do. That's really simple for things like formative assessments. You'll notice that it's missing now in the ongoing tab. That's because this assignment's been completed and it now sits in the completed box. So you would have a complete record of what formative assessments you've done. And that's how easy it is to add a formative assessment to one of our units.